This is home of the most famous lovers in the world, Romeo and Juliet, and a place where they have the most preserved Roman buildings in northern Italy. This is Verona, Italy, where history, culture and romance meet on every corner. Hi guys, my name is Rok and I spent last 9 years traveling around Europe as a tour guide, and I can't wait to show you things to do in Verona, Italy. This hill is the best place to start exploring Verona. It rises just above the bend of Adige River and offers you the best panorama of the city. From up here, you can see how Verona was built on a strategic position and on an important crossroad. That is why Verona was already an important Roman city. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the city was conquered by different German kings, including Charles the Great, and has become the residence of kings. In 1100s, a major earthquake heavily damaged the city, and a big rebuilding project is the reason why Verona has such a rich medieval architecture. 13th and 14th centuries were the revival of Verona, as the city was ruled by the Scala family known as Scaligeri. Verona again became prosperous, rich and powerful, and was surrounded by new defensive walls. Another common symbol in Verona is a lion of Saint Mark that marks the power of Venetian Republic that ruled this city for the next 400 years. That is why, after Napoleon conquered Venice, Verona became part of a French empire. After Napoleon's defeat, Austrians took control of the city and used this strategic hill to build here this military castle. Verona remained part of Austrian Empire until 1866, when the city became part of United Italy. As you can see, it is well worth coming up here, despite the fact that the castle is off limits. To get here, I walked on a beautiful uphill stairway as the funicular is temporarily closed. Before I show you the rest of the city, I want to thank you for clicking the like button and commenting down below. It really makes a huge difference and it helps this video a lot. Now, let's go around Verona. Right under St. Peter's Hill on the banks of the river is already the first impressive Roman monument. This more than 2100 years old oval-shaped Roman amphitheater is leaning against the slope of the hill. Theater was lost over centuries as buildings grew over its ruins. That is why the small 10th century church stands on its steps. But in 1800s, a rich merchant bought all the houses in the area and set about archaeological excavations, which unearthed the original marble floor and rows of stone seats. Right behind the amphitheater rises a 15th century convent that was turned into an archaeological museum and is full of ancient Roman columns, mosaics and other high-quality pieces. The museum also offers a nice view over the famous old Roman bridge Ponte Pietra, which was rebuilt after being destroyed in the World War II. You can visit the theater as part of the joint ticket with the Archaeological Museum. Verona's old town was strategically built on the bend of the river that surrounds the city on 3 sides. The city was further protected by the city walls that have surrounded the city from the Roman times and have been rebuilt and extended ever since. The historic part of Verona is still partly surrounded by city walls, and there are still several old city gates from different eras. The oldest city gates were built by the Romans. In the Middle Ages, Verona got new city walls and new gates, and few centuries later, Venetians added their contribution to the defensive system of the city. Even Austrians rebuilt and built part of the town walls as late as the 1800s. This beautiful Roman gate dates back to the 1st century and it served as the city's main entrance. Gate was built using locally sourced limestone and it features 2 arches flanked by decorative Corinthian columns. Portoni della Bra are city gates from the Middle Ages that lead to the largest square in Verona, lined with beautiful houses, numerous cafes and restaurants. On this impressive and beautiful square, you simply can't overlook three most impressive buildings. First is the most amazing landmark of the city, the 2,000 years old Verona Arena built by the Romans. Second is this neoclassical palace from the 1800s that is used as a present-day town hall. And the third imposing building is Gran Guardia Palace from 1600s that is used as a venue for conferences and exhibitions. Between the two buildings is the old town wall where you can find Verona's tourist information office. In the middle of the square is also a small park with trees and a bronze statue of the first king of United Italy. That statue is an important symbol for Verona as it marks the time when Verona became part of Italy. This is one of the most popular and lively squares, perfect for people watching and soaking up the vibe of the city. From the biggest square, Piazza Bra, this beautiful street takes you to the second largest and even more beautiful square that we'll visit later. This is Verona's main shopping street, and it is one of the largest pedestrian areas in the city. This is also one of the busiest streets as it is lined with beautiful high-end shops, and it's a perfect place for window shopping. As mentioned, in the 1100s, Verona suffered a major earthquake when most of the buildings were destroyed and city had to be rebuilt. This Roman Catholic cathedral, the main church in Verona, was one of the new buildings after the earthquake. It has beautiful ornate marble facade with biblical scenes and pillars supported by two griffins, a mythical hybrid between a lion and an eagle. Impressive and spacious interior dates from the 15th century renovations. Church has a nave and two aisles divided by beautiful red Verona marble columns. Above the main altar is a stunning fresco, and on both sides are beautiful golden organs. Church is also famous for its adjoining baptistry with octagonal baptismal font carved from a single block of marble. As it is beautifully sculpted with biblical scenes, it is considered a true medieval masterpiece. Admission is €3. On this street, just few steps from Piazza della Erbe, stands a brick-built house known as Juliet House. The story was written by famous English playwright Shakespeare, but it was based on real-life places and events in Verona during the 1300s. At the time, Italian families and town were in fierce disputes due to political reasons. The supporters of the supremacy of the political power of the Pope were called the Guelphs. The Ghibellines, on the other hand, argued that the Pope should only be a religious leader and that the political power lay with the Emperor. This led to violent disputes between cities and families that belonged to one or another faction, and Verona was no exception. As Shakespeare used real life for his fictional story of forbidden love, you can visit real Juliet's house, see the exterior of real Romeo's house, and visit Juliet's tomb. There is even a Juliet's Club that has been handling thousands of letters as the team of volunteers replies to each and every one of them in the name of Juliet. Juliet's 13th century house is a small museum, but there isn't much to see. You can enter in a small courtyard with a statue of Juliet. Famous balcony was added to the house only in 1936. If you enter the house, you can step on the balcony, but make sure you have someone to take a photo from the courtyard. This basilica, with ornate Romanesque facade and huge rose window called Wheel of Fortune, is one of the most important religious buildings in Verona. For a long time, the adjoining abbey was the city's official residence of the Holy Roman Emperors. The basilica and the abbey were built in honor of Saint Zeno, the patron saint of Verona, who died in the year 380. The huge crypt from the 10th century houses the patron saint's body in a sarcophagus, and his face is covered by silver mask. Due to Saint Zeno's relics, this church was a center of European pilgrimage for centuries. Maybe it was due to its fame that the crypt was chosen by Shakespeare to become a fictional location of marriage between Romeo and Juliet. Church's interior has unusual 14th century timber roof and beautiful Romanesque capitals. From the inside, you can admire beautiful bronze doors built by different masters from 11th to 13th century. In the aisles are frescoes from the 13th to 15th centuries, but its biggest masterpiece is its Renaissance altarpiece depicting the Madonna with Child and Saints. And this is the beautiful old square I mentioned before. It is surrounded by magnificent buildings and palaces and represents the heart of Verona. This was the central square already in Roman times, and it remained the center of social and political life also in the Middle Ages, when the old town hall with impressive Lamberti Tower was built. This is the tallest tower in Verona that was continually built upon for the next 300 years, so the newest part is its marble top. You can visit the tower by climbing its 238 steps or by taking a lift and enjoying great views. Square also features an old fountain with a statue of Madonna Verona, a 1700 years old Roman sculpture. In the middle of the square is also a small raised canopy from the 16th century. In the old days, it was used for market surveillance, and anyone who was found guilty of cheating was chained to it and was exposed to the ridicule of the people. On the southern part of the square is this beautiful Gothic market column from the 1400s. The bronze sculpture next to it depicts a popular Veronese poet, Berto Barbani. At the northern part of the square, in front of beautiful palace, stands another column, topped with the winged lion of Saint Mark, erected by Venetians to show its power. It is hard to believe, but if you pass under the arch known as Costa Arch, you'll get to another, even more beautiful square. Dangling from the arch is a whale's rib, which, as the legend goes, will fall on the first truly just person to pass beneath it. And it is this charming and elegant square considered as the Hall of Verona. It is surrounded by a series of elegant and important historical palaces built in the Renaissance. As the name of the square, Square of the Lord, suggests, this was the center of power. Here was the seat of city's government, including the court and the seat of power of the Scala family, the rulers of Verona, known also as Scalieri. In the middle is a famous statue of Dante Alighieri, famous Italian poet and writer, and the father of the Italian language. Dante was given a refuge in Verona after he was exiled from Florence in 1302. Due to this famous statue, the square is also referred to as Dante Square. Most of the buildings are off limits to the public, but you can walk through the archway by the far end of the square to see amazing ornate Gothic funerary monuments, the tombs of the La Scala family. The Scalieri family left a big impact in Verona. Under their rule, the city again became rich and powerful, so no wonder you can see their heritage all over. But their most impressive mark sits on the bank of the river. This square-shaped, red brick fortified castle from the 1300s was built by the Scalieri. It has 7 towers, elevated keep, and it is surrounded by the ditch, as Caligari really wanted to protect himself against the citizens. You see, they were afraid of a revolt against their tyrannic rule. The castle has an adjoining bridge over the river, which at the time of its construction was the longest of its kind in the world. The fortified bridge was intended to allow escaping the family in the event of a rebellion. The castle houses the city art museum, packed with rich collection of medieval sculptures and Renaissance paintings. This is the most important landmark of Verona, a huge 2,000 years old Roman arena. After a major earthquake in 1100s, the structure's outer ring that served as a facade was almost completely destroyed, but the internal structure remained in good shape and makes it one of the best preserved ancient structure of its kind. This arena could sit about 30,000 spectators in its 44 tiers of marble seats. At the center of the arena floor, gladiators would fight for life against wild beasts. As you can see, there are many modern elements in this ancient arena. Thanks to its elliptical shape, it has excellent acoustics and remains to be in use as one of the greatest open-air stages. Attending one of the music or opera shows in this arena is one of the best things. Otherwise, the arena is open daily and the entrance is €10. I told you at the beginning that in Verona, history, culture and romance meet on every corner. No wonder then that this city has been declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. You can spend hours wandering the charming streets, admire beautiful shops and enjoy in the Italian heartbeat of the city. Besides places I showed you, Verona offers many more great museums, amazing churches and other charming places worth exploring. And just a half-an-hour drive away is also the largest lake in Italy, beautiful Lake Garda with the most popular Italian amusement park, Gardaland. If you want to learn more about food and shopping in Verona, check out my upcoming video in the top corner. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can share your questions, suggestions or experience about Verona in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified about my future travel videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.